6 months had passed since Earth fell to the Vextai. The monsters were still moving across the galaxy like a disease, taking planet after planet. Their next target was the rich and powerful Altarian Federation. The Altarians had the best weapons and the strongest military in the galaxy, but they did not know what was coming for them. High Commander Zekth stood in his war room on the main Vextai ship. He was in his true form now, which looked like a tall human with pale skin and cold blue eyes. But this was just another disguise. His real body was something much worse, something that would make most creatures run in terror. The humans are finished, Zekth said to his officers. They run and hide like scared animals. Soon we will forget they ever existed. His second-in-command, a Vextai called Mordan, nodded. The Altarians will be easier than Earth. They trust everyone. They believe in peace and friendship. They will never see us coming. Zekth smiled, showing teeth that were too sharp to be human. Send our advanced teams to Altarian space. Tell them to take the forms of traders and refugees. Once we have enough of our people in place, we will strike. Far away, in the asteroid fields near a dead star, the human fleet was very busy. Captain Jake Morrison walked through the main work area of Titan Base. The place looked nothing like it did 6 months ago. Now it was full of strange machines and equipment that Lieutenant Amy Brooks had built. Amy was the best engineer in the human fleet. She was young, maybe 25 years old, with short red hair and hands that were always dirty from working on machines. She spent all her time building new devices based on the research that Dr. Lisa Carter was doing. "Show me what you have, Amy," Jake said as he walked up to her workstation. Amy looked up from a complex machine she was building. "This is a scanner that can detect when someone is lying. Dr. Carter found out that when the Vextai pretend to be human, their brain waves are different from real humans. This machine can see the difference." Jake picked up a small device that looked like a watch. "How does it work?" "You wear it on your wrist," Amy explained. "When you talk to someone, it reads their brain waves and compares them to normal human patterns. If the person is really a Vextai, the device will vibrate to warn you." Dr. Lisa Carter walked over to them. She had been working day and night for months, trying to understand the Vextai. She looked tired, but excited. "Jake, we have discovered something important," Lisa said. "The ability that some humans have to detect lies is real. We tested it on volunteers from the fleet. About 1 in every 10 humans can sense when someone is being dishonest, even when they do not know how they know." "That is interesting," Jake said. "But how can we use this against the Vextai?" "I have an idea," said a new voice. "Commander Ryan." Walsh walked up to the group. Ryan was Jake's best friend and the leader of the fleet's military forces. He was a big man with dark hair and serious eyes. "I want to take a team back into Vextai space." Jake stared at him. "That is crazy, Ryan. They will kill you." "Not if we are careful," Ryan said. Amy's scanners work. Lisa's research shows that humans can detect Vextai even when they are disguised. We can use these advantages to spy on them. We need to know what they are planning. Jake thought about this. It was very dangerous, but they needed information about the enemy. "Who would go with you?" "I want Sergeant Kate Miller and Corpsman Alex Turner. Both of them tested positive for the lie detection ability. They will be able to spot Vextai even without the scanners." Jake knew Kate and Alex well. Kate was a tough soldier who had fought in many battles before the Vextai invasion. She was smart and brave, and she never gave up. Alex was a medical officer who had saved many lives during the escape from Earth. He was calm under pressure and good at thinking quickly. "When do you want to leave?" Jake asked. "Tomorrow," Ryan said. "The Vextai just took over a trading station in the Kepler system. We can pretend to be traders looking for work. If we are careful, we can get in and out without being detected." 3 days later, Ryan's team was inside the Vextai-controlled trading station. They had disguised their ship to look like an old cargo vessel. Ryan, Kate, and Alex wore the clothes of space traders and carried fake identification papers. The trading station was a big metal structure that floated in space between two planets. Thousands of beings from different species lived and worked there. But Ryan could tell that something was wrong. The place felt empty and scared, even though it was full of people. "Stay close and keep your scanners on," Ryan whispered to his team as they walked through the main corridor. "Remember, if you feel like something is wrong about someone, trust that feeling." They had been walking for only a few minutes when Kate grabbed Ryan's arm. "That group over there," she said quietly, "the ones who look like Altarians. Something is not right about them." Ryan looked where Kate was pointing. He saw 5 beings who appeared to be from the Altarian Federation. They were tall and thin, with silver skin, which was normal for Altarians. But Kate was right. Something felt wrong about them. Alex checked his scanner. The device was vibrating softly. "They are Vextai," he whispered. The team followed the fake Altarians from a distance. The disguised Vextai went to a restricted area of the station that was supposed to be empty. Ryan, Kate, and Alex found a way to sneak in behind them. What they saw made them sick with horror. The restricted area was not empty at all. It was full of cages. Inside the cages were hundreds of beings from different species. They were all alive, but they looked weak and scared. The Vextai were keeping them like animals. "They are farming them," Kate whispered. "The Vextai are not just killing the people they capture. They are keeping them alive for something." Ryan recorded everything with a small camera. They needed proof of what the Vextai were doing. But as they were getting ready to leave, Alex's scanner started vibrating very strongly. "More Vextai coming," Alex said. "A lot of them." The team ran through the corridors of the trading station as fast as they could. Behind them, they could hear the sounds of Vextai guards discovering that someone had been in the restricted area. Alarms started ringing throughout the station. They barely made it back to their ship before the Vextai found them. As they flew away from the trading station, Ryan looked at the recordings they had made. The images were terrible, but they were also proof of something important. "We have to get this information back to Jake," Ryan said. "The galaxy needs to know what the Vextai are really doing." But Kate had discovered something else in the Vextai computer systems. "Ryan, look at this. The Vextai have records about something called the Unmaskers. They are afraid of them." "Who are the Unmaskers?" Alex asked. Kate read from her computer screen. "The files are not clear, but it looks like the Unmaskers are the reason the Vextai left their home planet. They are running away from something even worse than they are." Ryan stared at the information. If the Vextai were afraid of something, maybe humans could find this thing and use it against them. Maybe there was hope after all. Dr. Lisa Carter had not slept for 3 days. She sat in her laboratory on Titan Base, staring at the computer screen in front of her. The samples that Commander Ryan Walsh had brought back from the Vextai trading station were giving her answers she had never expected. "This cannot be right," she said to herself. She ran the tests again, but the results were the same. Captain Jake Morrison walked into the laboratory. He looked worried. "Lisa, you called for me. What did you find?" Lisa turned to face him. Her eyes were red from lack of sleep, but they were also bright with excitement. "Jake, everything we thought about the Vextai is wrong. They are not the hunters. They are the prey." Jake sat down in a chair next to her. "What do you mean?" Lisa pointed at the screen. "I studied the genetic material from the Vextai samples. These creatures are not from a planet where they are the strongest species. They evolved on a world where something much more dangerous was hunting them. Their shape-changing ability is not for attacking. It is for hiding." "Hiding from what?" "I do not know yet," Lisa said. "But whatever it is, it must be terrible. The Vextai are so afraid of it that they left their home planet and started conquering other worlds just to stay as far away as possible." Jake thought about this new information. So they are running away from something on their home planet. Yes, Lisa said. And I think the thing they are running from might be the unmaskers that Kate found in their computer files. The door to the laboratory opened. Dr. Sam Parker walked in, carrying a cup of coffee and a thick folder full of papers. Sam was a psychologist who had worked with people on Earth before the Vex-Tai invasion. Now he was studying how the monsters thought and acted. I heard you made a discovery, Sam said to Lisa. I have some information that might help. Sam sat down and opened his folder. I have been studying the behavior patterns of the Vex-Tai from all the video recordings we have. These creatures are not acting like confident predators. They are acting like scared animals that are trying to look dangerous. What do you mean? Jake asked. Think about it, Sam said. Real predators are calm and patient. They do not need to be cruel or show off their power. But the Vex-Tai are always trying to prove how strong and scary they are. They make a big show of their transformations. They want everyone to be afraid of them. Lisa nodded. That fits with what I found in their genetics. They are prey animals pretending to be predators. Jake stood up and walked to the window. Outside, he could see the human fleet floating in space around Titan Base. If the Vex-Tai are running from something, maybe we can find that something and use it against them. I was thinking the same thing, Lisa said. But first, we need to find out more about the unmaskers. Sam pulled out another paper from his folder. I might be able to help with that. I have been reading through old galactic history files. There are stories about an ancient empire called the Corvani. They disappeared about 1,000 years ago, but they left behind some interesting records. What kind of records? Jake asked. Stories about creatures that could force other beings to show their true nature, Sam said. The Corvani called them the Unmaskers. According to the stories, the Unmaskers were not really creatures at all. They were some kind of technology. Lisa leaned forward. Technology that could see through disguises? More than that, Sam said. The technology could strip away all lies and deception. It could force any being to show what they really were inside, both physically and mentally. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. That sounds dangerous. It was, Sam said. The stories say that the Corvani built this technology to fight against an invasion of shape-changing creatures that sound very much like the Vex-Tai. But using the technology came with a terrible cost. What cost? Lisa asked. Sam read from his papers. Whoever operated the unmasker technology would experience the true thoughts and emotions of every being within its range. Most people could not handle that much mental input. It would drive them insane. The three humans sat in silence for a moment, thinking about what this meant. Finally, Jake spoke up. Where is this Corvani technology now? The Corvani Empire was centered around a planet called Corvani Prime, Sam said. If the technology still exists, it would be there. Lisa checked her computer. Corvani Prime is in the dead zone between Vex-Tai space and the Central Galactic Council territory. No one has been there for hundreds of years. That is where we need to go, Jake said. Dr. Sam Parker shook his head. Jake, this is very dangerous. Even if we find the technology, using it could kill whoever tries to operate it. Maybe, Jake said, but we have to try. The Vex-Tai are about to attack the Altarian Federation. After that, they will go after the Central Galactic Council. If we do not stop them soon, they will control the entire galaxy. Lisa saved her research files and turned off her computer. I will come with you. You will need someone who understands alien biology. I will come too, Sam said. If this technology affects the mind, you will need a psychologist. Jake nodded. We will take a small team. Commander Ryan Walsh, Lieutenant Amy Brooks, and maybe a few others. We cannot risk the entire fleet on this mission. 2 days later, Jake's ship was flying through empty space toward the dead Corvani system. The ship was called the Explorer, and it was fast and quiet. Perfect for sneaking through dangerous territory. Commander Ryan Walsh sat in the pilot's seat. We will reach Corvani Prime in 6 hours. But Jake, I have to tell you something. Our long-range scanners are picking up Vex-TIE ships in this area. Lieutenant Amy Brooks looked up from her engineering station. They might be looking for the same thing we are. Dr. Lisa Carter was studying star charts at her science station. That makes sense. If the Vex-TIE know about the Corvani technology, they would want to destroy it before anyone else could find it. Jake stood in the center of the bridge. Then we need to get there first. As the explorer flew deeper into the dead Corvani system, Jake could not stop thinking about what they might find on Corvani Prime. Ancient technology that could strip away all lies and deception sounded like exactly what humanity needed to fight. The Vex-TIE. But it also sounded like something that could be very dangerous in the wrong hands. Jake, Lisa said from her station, I am detecting something strange ahead. Corvani Prime is not completely dead. There are still some power sources, active on the surface. Ryan checked his navigation instruments. Confirmed. Something is definitely still working down there. Jake felt his heart beat faster. After 1,000 years, the Corvani technology was still active. This could be the answer to stopping the Vex-TIE. But as they got closer to the ancient planet, Jake wondered if they were about to find salvation or doom for the entire galaxy. Take us down, Ryan, Jake said. Let us see what the Corvani left behind. Corvani Prime was a dead world covered in the ruins of an ancient civilization. Captain Jake Morrison and his team walked through the empty streets of what had once been a great city. The buildings were made of strange metal that still gleamed after 1,000 years. But there were no people, no sounds, no life at all. This place gives me the creeps, Lieutenant Amy Brooks said as she scanned the area with her equipment. It feels like everyone just disappeared one day. Dr. Lisa Carter was studying her readings. According to my scans, there was no war here, no explosions or weapons damage. The Corvani just left their planet and never came back. Commander Ryan Walsh kept his weapon ready as he watched for danger. Maybe they had a good reason to leave. The team followed Dr. Sam Parker through the ruins. Sam had been studying the ancient Corvani language and could read some of the writing on the buildings. He led them toward the center of the city where the largest structure stood. The central building should have the main computer systems, Sam said. If the unmasker technology is anywhere, it will be there. As they walked, Jake's communication device made a beeping sound. A voice came through, weak and full of static. This is Chancellor Mira Stone of the Central Galactic Council. Any human ships that can hear this message, please respond. We need help immediately. Jake pressed a button to reply. This is Captain Morrison. We can hear you, Chancellor. What is happening? The Vex-TIE have reached the core worlds, Mira said. Her voice sounded scared and tired. They attacked the Altarian Federation 3 days ago. The entire Federation fell in less than 24 hours. Now they are moving toward our capital planet. Jake felt cold inside. The Altarians had the strongest military in the galaxy. If they fell that quickly, no one could stop the Vex-TIE using normal weapons. How much time do we have? Jake asked. Maybe a week, Mira said. Captain Morrison, you are the only human representative we have left. Is there any hope? Can your people help us? Jake looked at his team. They were standing in the ruins of a dead civilization, looking for ancient technology that might not even work. We are working on something, Chancellor. Give us a few more days. I will try, Mira said, but I do not know if we have a few more days. The communication ended and Jake's team continued toward the central building. They found the entrance and went inside. The building was huge and filled with strange machines that were still humming with power after all these centuries. Amy connected her computer to one of the Corvani machines. The power systems are still working perfectly. These people really knew how to build things to last. Sam found a wall covered with Corvani writing. He read it slowly. This is a warning. It says that the unmasker technology is dangerous and should only be used in the most desperate situations. I think our situation qualifies as desperate, Ryan said. Lisa discovered a room full of computer screens that were still active. The screens showed information about the unmasker technology in the Corvani language. Sam, can you translate this? Sam studied the screens for several minutes. His face grew pale as he read. The unmasker technology works by connecting a person's mind to a quantum field that reveals truth. When activated, it forces every being within its range to show their real nature, both physical and mental. That sounds like exactly what we need against the Vextai, Jake said. But there is a problem. Sam continued reading. The person who operates the technology experiences the thoughts and emotions of everyone affected by it. If there are millions of beings in range, the operator's mind will be flooded with millions of different thoughts and feelings at the same time. Amy looked up from her computer. That would kill someone. Would it not? Most species cannot survive. Sam said. But the Corvani notes say that some rare individuals have minds strong enough to handle the connection. They call these people truth seekers. Dr. Lisa Carter made an excited sound. Jake, remember what we discovered about humans? Our ability to detect lies and deception? What if that same ability makes us suitable to operate the unmasker technology? Jake thought about this. It made sense. Humans could already sense when someone was being dishonest. Maybe their minds were naturally built to handle truth and lies in ways that other species could not. Even if that is true, Ryan said, using this technology would still be incredibly dangerous. And there is another problem. Look at this. Ryan was reading information on another computer screen. The unmasker technology does not just affect the target species. It affects everyone in its range. Every species, every individual would be forced to show their true nature. Sam nodded grimly. That means if we use it against the Vextai, we would also reveal the true nature of every other species in the galaxy, including humans. Amy sat down in a chair. Some species might have secrets they do not want revealed. Some might have done terrible things in the past. If we force everyone to show their true nature, we might cause more problems than we solve. Jake walked to the window and looked out at the dead city. The moral weight of the decision was enormous. Use the technology and potentially save the galaxy from the Vextai, but also force every being in the galaxy to reveal their deepest secrets and true nature. Some of those revelations might be beautiful, but others might be terrible. We need to make a choice, Jake said. Do we have the right to force the entire galaxy to face the truth about itself? Lisa stood up. Jake, the Vextai are enslaving and farming entire species. They have killed billions of people. If we do not stop them, they will destroy everything. But what if the cure is worse than the disease? Amy asked. What if revealing everyone's true nature causes wars and chaos across the galaxy? Ryan checked his weapon and looked toward the door. We might not have time to debate this. My sensors are picking up Vextai ships approaching the planet. Jake turned from the window. How many ships? At least 20, Ryan said. They will be here in less than an hour. Sam was still reading the Corvani files. There is something else. The technology requires a volunteer to operate it. It cannot be forced on someone. The person has to choose to make the connection. Jake looked at his team. Amy was the engineer who could get the technology working. Lisa was the scientist who understood how it functioned. Sam was the psychologist who might be able to help someone survive the mental connection. Ryan was the soldier who would protect them while they worked. But someone would have to volunteer to connect their mind to the unmasker technology. Someone would have to risk their sanity or their life to save the galaxy. I will do it, Jake said quietly. No, Lisa said immediately. Jake, you are needed to lead the fleet. If something happens to you, who will guide humanity through what comes next? Then I will do it, Sam said. I understand how the mind works. I might have a better chance of surviving the connection. Amy was working on connecting her equipment to the Corvani systems. The technology is starting to power up, but it will take time to reach full activation. Maybe 30 minutes. Ryan was watching his sensors. The Vextai ships are getting closer. We have maybe 40 minutes before they arrive. Jake realized they were out of time for debate. Someone had to make the connection with the unmasker technology, and they had to do it before the Vextai could stop them. The fate of the entire galaxy hung in the balance, and the choice of who would risk everything was about to be made. Captain Jake Morrison pressed his face against the cold metal window of the bridge. Outside, stars moved slowly past as his ship traveled through space. The last group of humans from Earth was somewhere behind him now, flying away in their own ships. They were all running away from home. Earth was gone. Jake felt sick when he thought about it. 3 months ago, Earth was safe. People went to work, children played in parks, and families ate dinner together. Nobody knew that monsters were living right next to them. The creatures looked exactly like humans. They talked like humans. They acted like humans, but they were not human at all. The door to the bridge opened with a soft sound. Dr. Lisa Carter walked in, carrying a computer tablet in her hands. She looked tired and scared, just like everyone else on the ship. Lisa was the smartest person. Jake knew when it came to studying alien life, if anyone could figure out these monsters, it would be her. "Captain Morrison," Lisa said. Her voice was quiet. "I have the report you asked for." Jake turned away from the window. "Tell me what you found, Lisa." Lisa looked down at her tablet. "The creatures call themselves the Vextai. They are not from any planet we know about. They can change their shape to look like anyone or anything. For years, maybe even decades, they have been living on Earth. They studied us. They learned how we think, how we act, how we live." Jake felt anger growing in his chest. "They were planning this the whole time." "Yes," Lisa said. "They did the same thing to 47 other planets. Each time, they sent their people to live among the local population first. They learned everything about each species. Then, when they were ready, they all revealed themselves at the same time." Jake walked to his chair and sat down hard. "How many people did we lose?" Lisa was quiet for a long moment. "We think maybe 2 billion people escaped Earth. The rest—" She did not finish the sentence. Jake closed his eyes. Earth had 8 billion people. That meant 6 billion people were dead or captured. It was too big a number to really understand. Jake had seen the videos before they escaped. Normal people suddenly changing into terrible monsters with long claws and sharp teeth. Neighbors attacking neighbors. Friends becoming enemies in seconds. The communication system on the bridge made a beeping sound. A man's voice came through the speakers. "All ship commanders, this is Admiral Ben Rodriguez. Please report to the meeting room on Titan Base in 2 hours. We need to talk about what happens next." Jake pressed a button to reply. "This is Captain Morrison. I will be there." Lisa sat down in the chair next to Jake. "What do you think the Admiral wants to talk about?" "Probably where we go next," Jake said. "We cannot stay here forever. The Vextai will find us eventually." Lisa looked at her tablet again. "Jake, there is something else. Something strange." "What?" "I have been studying the videos from Earth. The ones that show people changing into Vextai. I noticed something. In every video, there were always some humans who seemed to know something was wrong before the change happened. They looked scared or worried even before the monsters revealed themselves." Jake thought about this. "Maybe they heard something or saw something?" "No," Lisa said. "I checked. There were no sounds or signs that would warn them. It was like they could feel that something was not right, like they could sense the lie somehow." This was interesting. Jake had felt the same thing many times on Earth. Sometimes he would meet someone new and feel like they were not telling the truth about something. He never knew why he felt that way. He just did. "Do you think this is important?" Jake asked. "I think it might be very important," Lisa said. "What if humans have some kind of ability that other species do not have? What if we can detect when someone is lying or pretending to be something they are not?" Jake stood up and walked back to the window. In the distance, he could see Titan Base. It was a small space station that humans had built near Saturn many years ago. Now it was the only safe place they had left. Hundreds of human ships were floating around it like lost children. "Even if that is true," Jake said, "what good does it do us now? Earth is gone. Most of our people are dead. We are just running away." Lisa stood up too. "Maybe we do not have to keep running forever." Jake looked at her. "What do you mean?" "The Vextai have been conquering planets for years, but what if someone could find them before they reveal themselves? What if someone could warn the other species in the galaxy?" "The other species would never believe us," Jake said. "We are just humans. Why would they listen to us?" "Because we might be the only ones who can see through the Vextai lies," Lisa said. "Think about it, Jake. Every other species that fought the Vextai lost. They all fell for the same trick. But humans noticed something was wrong. Some of us, anyway." Jake thought about this as he watched the ships floating around Titan Base. Maybe Lisa was right. Maybe humans were different in some important way. But even if that was true, how could they use this ability to fight back? The Vextai were stronger and had better technology. They had already conquered dozens of worlds. "I need to think about this," Jake said. "Right now, I have to go to the meeting with Admiral Rodriguez." Lisa nodded. "I will keep studying the data. Maybe I can find more proof that humans have this ability." Jake left the bridge and walked through the corridors of his ship. Everywhere he looked, he saw families who had lost everything. Children who would never see Earth again. Parents who were trying to be brave for their kids but were scared and lost themselves. As Jake got into the small shuttle that would take him to Titan Base, he made a decision. He was tired of running away. He was tired of feeling helpless. If humans really did have some special ability to see through lies, then maybe they could use it. Maybe they could find a way to fight back. But first, he needed to convince Admiral Rodriguez and the other commanders. He needed to make them believe that humans were not just another species running away from the Vextai. He needed to make them understand that maybe, just maybe, humans were the key to stopping these monsters once and for all. The shuttle flew toward Titan Base, carrying Jake and his growing hope that humanity's story was not over yet. 6 months after the Zephyrian fleet's destruction, President Dan Murphy stood before the largest audience in galactic history. The captured alien communication network carried his words to every corner of the former empire, reaching billions of beings across hundreds of worlds. "Citizens of the galaxy," Murphy began, his voice calm but firm. 6 months ago, the Zephyrian Empire came to Earth demanding tribute. They wanted half our population as slaves and all our resources for their empire. Today, I speak to you from the former Zephyrian capital world, which is now under the protection of the Human Confederation. On planets across the galaxy, former slaves and oppressed peoples watched in amazement as the human leader spoke from the very throne room where Zephyrian emperors had ruled for 1,000 years. The empire that had seemed eternal was gone, replaced by something new. Admiral Kyle Harrison stood on the bridge of the UES Liberation, Earth's newest and most powerful ship. Built using the best of human and alien technology, it represented everything humanity had learned about warfare and engineering. Through the ship's windows, he could see the Zephyrian homeworld below, its cities now flying human flags alongside. The banners of dozens of freed species. "Admiral," reported Commander Lisa Carter, "we're receiving surrender offers from 47 more worlds. They want to join the Confederation voluntarily." Kyle nodded with satisfaction. "Accept their offers. Make sure they understand that any species that joins us gets full protection and equal treatment." The liberation of the galaxy had taken only 4 months, Earth's fleet, built with improved alien technology and crewed by the most determined. Fighters in the galaxy had swept through Zephyrian space like a storm. World after world had fallen to human forces, but not through conquest. They fell through liberation. Captain Steve Miller walked through the streets of New Zephyr, the former Empire's capital city. The blue-skinned aliens who had once ruled hundreds of worlds now worked alongside humans and dozens of other species to rebuild their society. The slave markets had been turned into schools. The tribute warehouses had become hospitals. Captain Miller called out Dr. Rachel Stone as she approached with a group of former Zephyrian scientists. "We've made another breakthrough. These folks have been helping us understand their quantum technology. With their cooperation, we can build ships that travel twice as fast as anything the old Empire had." Steve smiled at the group of alien scientists. Many of them had been forced to work for the Empire's war machine. Now they were free to use their knowledge to help rebuild. "The galaxy. Any word from the other liberation fleets?" Steve asked. "All successful," Rachel replied. Admiral Harrison's fleet took the core worlds without a single civilian casualty. Captain Parker's group has freed the mining worlds in the Outer Rim. Lieutenant Davis is coordinating relief efforts on the former slave planets. The systematic destruction of the Zephyrian Empire had been swift and precise. Earth's forces didn't conquer worlds, they liberated them. Species that had been enslaved for generations were given their freedom and offered membership in the growing Human Confederation. On the planet Kepler 442b, formerly known as Mining World 7, Jake Collins supervised the construction of the first human colony outside Earth's solar system. His family had volunteered to help establish the settlement, bringing Earth technology and farming techniques to help feed the planet's former slave population. "Daddy, look!" his daughter called out, pointing to the sky where ships from a dozen different species were arriving with supplies and equipment. Jake watched the ships land, each one carrying refugees who were finally free to return to their homeworlds or start new lives in the Confederation. That's the future, sweetheart. All of us working together. Amy Collins organized the medical teams that treated former slaves from across the galaxy. Many had never received proper health care under Zephyrian rule. Now they had access to the best medical technology from Earth and dozens of other worlds. The Zephyrians kept detailed records, Amy reported to the Planetary Council. "We know exactly which species were taken from which worlds. We can help almost everyone get home if they want to." But many didn't want to go home. After generations of slavery, some species had no homeworld to return to. They chose instead to build new lives in the Confederation, working alongside humans and other freed peoples to create something better than the Empire had ever been. Lieutenant Bobby Wright piloted his new fighter, the Aero Mark 7, on patrol around the Confederation's newest member world. The planet had surrendered without a fight when Earth's fleet arrived, its leaders eager to join the organization that had destroyed their oppressors. "Liberty Base. This is Aero 7, Bobby reported. "Patrol complete. Everything's quiet out here. The locals seem happy to see us." Back on Earth, Dr. Stone's research teams worked with scientists from across the galaxy to develop new technologies. The combination of human innovation and alien knowledge was producing breakthroughs that neither species could have achieved alone. "We're not just rebuilding the galaxy," Rachel explained to a gathering of researchers. "We're making it better. The Zephyrians used their technology to control and oppress. We're using it to explore and create." The Human Confederation grew larger every month as more worlds requested membership. Unlike the Empire, which had ruled through fear and force, the Confederation offered protection, trade, and friendship to any species that wanted to join. President Murphy continued his address to the galaxy from the former Emperor's throne. The Zephyrian Empire demanded tribute from Earth. They got their tribute. They paid it with their freedom to oppress others. Today, I declare that this galaxy belongs to all its peoples, not to any single empire or species. On 1,000 worlds, beings who had never known freedom celebrated as the president announced the Confederation's founding principles: no slavery, no forced tribute, no oppression of any species by another. Admiral Thexavar, the former Zephyrian commander, worked in the fields outside New Zephyr alongside other former Imperial officers. They had been given a choice: exile to a remote world or community service helping to rebuild what their empire had destroyed. Most had chosen to stay and help. "Do you regret coming to Earth?" asked Dr. Stone during one of their regular interviews. Thexvar looked up from the crops he was tending, his blue skin darkened by honest work under the sun. "Every day," he replied, "but not for the reasons you might think. I regret that it took humans to show us what we could have been." General Peter Brooks, now coordinator of Confederation Defense Forces, reviewed reports from across the galaxy. The military that had once prepared to surrender to the Zephyrians now protected hundreds of worlds and billions of beings. "Any threats on the horizon?" asked Kyle during their weekly briefing. "Nothing major," Brooks replied. "A few pirate groups trying to fill the power vacuum, but our allied fleets are handling them easily. Most of the galaxy is too busy rebuilding to think about making war." In his home on New Terra, formerly a Zephyrian fortress world, Jake Collins tucked his children into bed while his wife read them stories about Earth. The children had friends from 6 different species and spoke 3 alien languages fluently. "Tell us again about the old Earth," his son asked. "Earth is still there," Jake replied with a smile. "But now it's not alone. We have friends across the whole galaxy." Amy closed the book and looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, Earth continued to orbit its sun, protected by the most powerful fleet in galactic history. But it was no longer just Earth's fleet. It belonged to all the free peoples of the galaxy. The Empire had demanded tribute. Earth's answer had echoed across the stars: "Run while you still can." But now the running was over. The galaxy had learned its lesson about threatening humanity, and in learning that lesson, it had discovered something better than empire. It had discovered freedom.